Hi, I'm Mary.
And I'm Katie, and this is The Housewife Did It
Bonus episode edition.
on YouTube.
Yes. It's our first mystery bonus episode. We've decided to do like current news as bonus episodes and mysteries as bonus episodes just because they don't really fall into the category of true crime or they don't have enough to be a full episode of true crime. So this is our first mystery episode.
Woo!
Yeah. Are you ready to get started?
Yeah.
All right. So on August 7th, 1994, in the early morning, it rained in Oakville, Washington, as it so often does in Washington. This time was different, though. What fell from the sky on this day was no ordinary rain. It was a gloopy substance, translucent and blob-like in structure, some as small as a grain of rice. Some residents of Oakville described it as an odd type of hail. One police officer who saw the rain as it began to fall around 3 a.m. said it was like Jell-O, and that when he turned on his windshield wipers, it smeared across the windshield to the point where he was unable to see. The residents of Oakville would see these blobs fall from the sky several more times throughout that month, and they were all curious about what this could be. Outsiders had quite a few theories to explain them, though. Some people believed that the blobs didn't actually fall as rain, but instead they may have naturally appeared on the Earth. Residents didn't agree with this theory, though, as some of them claimed to have watched it fall from the sky. So people were saying, like, maybe it came out of the ground or washed up from, like, a shoreline or something, but didn't fall from the sky. But eyewitness testimony says it did fall from the sky.
Yeah. And onto a windshield.
Right, like at 3 a.m. while you were driving around. Another grosser theory is that it was fluid waste from an airplane toilet. The U.S. Federal Aviation Administration spoke out against this theory, though, pointing out that this type of fluid waste would be blue.
Okay.
I think because of like because it's like a porta potty almost, and that's what's in it. The next theory was that they were jellyfish parts that had been dispersed into rain clouds by bombing runs carried out by the Air Force. This also seemed unlikely. One popular theory was that they were star jellies, also known as astral jelly or astromyxin, which is believed to fall from the sky during meteor showers.
Yeah, I just thought I think some of these are weird to me. Like people just thought that this like bombing practice by the Air Force just like poofed a bunch of jellyfish into the clouds. Like I'm not understanding like the science.
Yeah, I think that so what I read about that one that like disproved it was that this bombing practice was like 50 miles away. So I think what people were thinking happened was that they did this bombing practice and the jellyfish parts just went everywhere.
Oh, okay.
As a result of the bombing practice, but the reason it was debunked was because it wasn't close enough for it to have gone where it went.
Right.
Where it showed up, if that was what had happened.
Right. Then I did see that other people, I feel like I'm back in Elisa Lamb's case, but thought that the blobs were bioweapons and that the bombing practice was actually just a cover to distract from these bioweapons being dispersed somehow. But I do think the astral jelly idea is interesting. I think
so too.
For me, it's like I know so little about astral jelly that it's like why wouldn't that be possible? Like
right.
That's I feel like that's what it would look like.
Yeah. I feel like that is like the most common explanation now. Like when you look it up, like Oakville Blobs, people are like, "Isn't it just star jelly?" And they've like said that like what they know of star jelly, this isn't the same thing. But
Mm-hmm.
I think that is every single star jelly going to be the same thing? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know,
I
because
don't.
I
Yeah.
don't live in space.
That's
Um,
that's true.
yes. Substances. I don't live in space. Substances similar to the Oakville blobs have been found before and since their discovery, and they were proven to be frog spawn in different cases.
Mm-hmm.
Some were proven to be frog spawn, some were sodium polyacrylate crystals, and some were algae.
Were any of these said to have come from the sky?
No, and I think that's what people like were thinking, like, well, we've seen things like this before and they don't fall from the sky.
Right.
They just come from the ground. And they're like, well, these are different because they are coming from the sky.
Yeah.
What also set these blobs apart from those natural occurrences that were easily explained away was that they seemed to be making the residents of Oakville sick. So the same day these blobs appeared, people began to get sick, and including the two witnesses I mentioned at the beginning, the woman who said it was like hail and the police officer. So people who got close to the blobs, like the police officer who saw them fall on his windshield, began to develop flu-like symptoms, and animals who came into contact with the blobs reportedly died shortly after. Um, I think specifically like farm animals had been
Mm-hmm.
dying. That when because the blobs had landed on the farm,
Yeah.
like outside. Officer Lacey, the police officer I mentioned, said that among his symptoms was violent nausea and difficulty breathing. Another resident had the same difficulty breathing and eventually collapsed in her bathroom and was hospitalized for 3 days with what was later diagnosed as an ear infection.
Interesting.
Her daughter sent a sample of the blobs out to the hazardous material unit at the Department of Ecology in Washington State.
Okay.
At Washington State.
Yeah, I saw that one poor woman just thought,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I want to take this home and get a closer look at it. And then she started having vertigo.
Yeah.
But it just made me think, like, that would be us. Like, I am obviously picking up the blob of goo.
Yeah.
And I'm keeping it. Or, like, looking at it at least.
Yes.
And that same woman, her name was Beverly. She was one that said that it was affecting her animals.
Mm-hmm.
That basically she found blobs in her garden, and then nearby she found a dead frog, a raven, and like a farm kitten that they had. So
I think that's like so unfortunate that like the humans like got close to it. Like this was on the police officer's car. I don't know that he got out and like touched it and they were getting sick. The animals like they're outside, it's falling outside. They're probably like eating it.
yeah, licking
And to be
it,
honest, yes,
sniffing it
like
at
like
least.
fully interacting and like potentially ingesting it. And like I think that it's just because they don't know like to not do that like the
Yeah.
humans do. Um but yeah, it's like I thought it was very interesting. Um once um Sunny is the name of the woman who sent the sample in to the hazardous material unit. So once Sunny got the sample to microbiologists, they inspected it and they found a number of cells of various sizes and two species of bacteria in the blobs, including one that infects the human digestive system, which is what would cause violent nausea.
Mm-hmm.
They also pointed out that the cells did not have nuclei, which eliminated the notion that the blobs may have contained human white blood cells. I don't know for sure if that means that the blobs like could not have come from any like human byproduct or waste, but there was a rumor that they contained human white blood cells, and based on the fact that they did not have nuclei, they could prove that they weren't human white blood cells because they do have nuclei.
Yeah.
But thinking back to like 6th grade science, I thought all plant and animal cells had nuclei.
I don't know.
So then what kind of cell is this? I don't know.
Yeah.
The nucleus is the powerhouse of the cell. So what is this cell running on?
How do you have a cell?
And the mitochondria is the powerhouse. But the nucleus is also important. I don't know.
I did read that it should mostly only affect people with compromised immune systems. So I think, like, I would be interested in knowing of the people that it affected, like, what is their medical history? Like, do they have compromised immune systems? I don't know. Or were they just the closest to the blobs? But one of the microbiologists that was involved in this testing really threw some locals off when he told them that after the blobs were tested for those 2 bacterias that they found, but before any other tests could be run, the blobs mysteriously disappeared from the lab. He claimed that in the many years that he had worked at that lab, no other sample had ever gone missing. Although these claims were never backed up, they did cause some people, as you might imagine, to believe that these blobs were man-made, that they were a vessel for some bacteria or virus, and that there's something shady going on.
Yeah. I think there is something shady. I just don't know what I think it is.
Yeah.
Since the disappearance of the blobs from that lab, there haven't been any new theories brought to light, and nothing exactly like them has been seen since, so they haven't been able to run any more tests. In 2013, similar blobs were found, but were quickly identified and did not match the makeup of the Oakville Blobs, leaving their true identity to remain a mystery. I wish that, like, we could... So I wanted to do this as, like, a full true crime case, but, like, there's just not enough information, and there's no, like, conclusion. I wish we could get to the end of this and be like, here is what they are, here's why people were getting sick. But we can't. So I want to know, what do you think is the most compelling part of this mystery? I think what draws me in is the illnesses.
Yeah.
Like, just being near them made people sick. Like, that, to me, is, like, odd.
Yeah.
What do you think it makes this, like, so, like, enticing for people as a mystery?
Yeah, I think it's that. Like, I think it's, like, also, there aren't a lot of things that just make us sick by being in their presence.
Yeah.
And, like, not ingesting them or touching them or whatever. So I do think that is interesting. I also think the animal part, where it's, like, in the testing, they've said, like, yep, this contains some bacteria that would affect the human digestive system. So it makes me wonder, like, but what is in it that had such a great effect on the animals? Or, like, and to your point, did it only affect the animals because they went a step further and ingested it? Or, like, why did it kill them?
Right, like, what was the effect on the animals? Was it also, like, something in the digestive system?
Or but then it's, like, the illnesses
was it, like, some kind of, like, poisonous to them? Like, I don't know. And the fact that it fell from the sky.
The illnesses I think
is crazy to me.
Yeah, but the illnesses were all different. Like, they say, yes, this bacteria should affect the digestive system, but then it's like, this lady had an ear infection. This lady had vertigo.
The lady had vertigo, yeah.
Like,
it was also affecting, like, the respiratory system.
Yeah, and then...
I don't know.
Yeah, how would something that naturally falls from our sky... I literally, when I was looking at this, started looking up, like, can rain congeal? Like, I'm like, would there be any way that this is just precipitation, but, like, got caught up in some pollution in the sky that, like, caused it to become, like, gel?
Yeah, and we know not to, like, drink rainwater because it's evaporated from the earth. So, like, if it is some kind of rain, we probably wouldn't want to ingest it because, again, like, it comes from evaporated water. But, like, I just don't like. I want to. Every time I like read a theory about it, I'm like, okay, like that makes sense. But then they're like, but we've seen that before, and it's not the same thing. And I'm like I like literally can't figure out what it is because I'm like, okay, yeah, astral jellies make sense, but they're like, but we've seen astral jellies,
Yeah.
and that's not what they are.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, I don't know.
It is weird. And like,
Yeah.
I guess like it is like eyewitness testimony is always flawed. So like I guess
Yeah.
it's like possible that it didn't fall from the sky, but it just seems like that would be a hard thing to like misunderstand because if it didn't fall from the
Right.
sky, then someone threw it at your windshield.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, how do you throw grain of rice sized globs at someone's
Yeah.
windshield?
Little jellies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So weird.
So strange.
Yeah, I'd love to figure it out one day.
Calling
Also,
all scientists.
yeah, when you look at when you Google Oakville Blobs, I don't think that any of the pictures that come up are actually pictures of the blobs because they all look huge.
Yeah.
Or they look like just raindrops.
Yeah.
So I also don't think that we actually have any pictures of them to be studied either.
Yeah.
Which also I think makes this more interesting that there is literally no way to figure it out at this point.
Yeah, I think
because we lost the samples, we have never seen anything like it since, and we have no pictures.
Yeah, I think the pictures are probably of like astral jelly or like the things
Yes.
that it's like suspected to be, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So strange.
Yeah. This is a short bonus episode, but
Yeah. But
hope you enjoyed it.
yeah, comment below your best blob theory.
Yeah. The Oakville Blobs were covered on an episode of Unsolved Mysteries, so maybe I'll look for some clips of interviews.
Yeah.
So that you can hear eyewitness testimonies or microbiologist testimonies for yourself. And comment what you think they are.
Yeah. Why are people getting sick?
Especially if you don't think it's any of the things we mentioned.
Yeah. Are there more theories?
I couldn't find any more. Other than the ones I mentioned.
Yeah. But let us know. Are you from Oakville, Washington?
Yeah. Are they lying about nothing else having fallen like that? Do you get blobs a lot? And y'all are hiding it?
Yeah. Y'all just the city of blobs?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thanks for tuning in to our November bonus episode.
Yeah.
We'll have another one, hopefully, next month.
Yeah. Maybe. Bye.
Bye.